We'll see you soon.
I've had everything, broken noses, I've had broken ribs, broken wrists.
We met with the FAA, we were looking at the radar.
Short courses, fast races.
We have oxygen. We see the drivers, we see how they're floating in the water. So if we do become inverted.
I smashed my jaw, had titanium plates in it. We can't get over the waves, so we go through them.
Kind of like, NASCAR in the water.
And we're ready to rock.
Let's rumble. Green flag, green flag, green flag. Go, 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 go.
From Daytona Beach, Florida, it's APBA Offshore. It's the Daytona Harley-Davidson Offshore Grand Prix, presented by Daytona International Speedway. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Crippen, along with Martin Sanborn, as we get ready for the first stop of the APBA Offshore Pro Series, presented by Mercury Racing. Mercury Racing, where the race never stops. Right off the bat, we're ready to go with some great action, and Martin, this looks like the water is ready for us.
Well, it looks like it's going to shape up to be a great day here. The wind has picked up just a little bit. We're looking at some rough conditions. It's what everybody expects here in Daytona.
So when you're on the smooth, flat water, it's who's got the fastest speed to the first corner. And this is a little more tricky. It's more of a driver throttleman race. Who can read the water, who can get into the corner the best. And that gives us, even with Chris being a rookie, an advantage to get in there and give us a chance. Though we're starting 100 yards back, we can still get up there in the pack and make a show.
You've always been a charger, but being the first race of the season, how hard do you push?
Well, like I said, this being the first race and a bit, rough water race, you don't want to damage what your equipment is here now and then show up at the next race, Band-Aid together. So we're going to go out there. We'll take a little bit easy in the beginning. Hopefully, we'll make a show.
It's a relatively new boat, and do you try and run hard, or do you just try and go and pick up points?
Well, I mean, we need all the points we can, but I think, seriously, any boat here, I think, can win this weekend. I mean, all the boats here have won races before. They've all led races a lot of times, so a lot of the teams have been together, and I really think anyone can win. So it's going to be tough, and I think it's going to be, some people are going to sit back, I think, at first because it's getting rough again, try to save the equipment. Then at the end, you have to run hard if you want to win.
The Tommy Bahama gang is into this. They pour their heart into it. They told me, they said, we're not taking this boat off the trailer if you don't think we can win this race. So we're going out to win it.
And we've got the big boats, the big super cats, the premier class, if you will, in APBA Offshore Racing. And we have a boat called Drambuie on Ice, the US 1. With more on that, here's Bill Adam.
One of the biggest changes, and without question the most prestigious, the addition of that US 1 label on the side of the Drambuie boat. Now, last year, Hugh Fuller and John Tomlinson had a dream season. They set their sights very high, but they met their dreams and won the national championship. But that wasn't good enough. They went to Key West, brought out this brand new boat, and dominated down there, becoming world champions as well. Is that good enough? No, it wasn't. Yesterday, I spoke with Hugh Fuller, and he told me that the winter months, normally used for rest and relaxation, they spent doing testing, trying propellers, trying different heights on things, different shapes, and words to make this boat even better. They don't want to stand still. They don't want to slide back to second or third place because they know right behind them there are a whole bunch of hungry crews from a bunch of different boats just waiting to grab US 1 away from them.
Coming up, racing in the premier class, the Super Cats, the fast boats. Stay with us. Looking ahead on the schedule for this year's circuit, Martin, it's exciting.
Absolutely. We're looking to bring offshore powerboat racing in close to the people in what we call stadium-style racing. You know, in the old days, we used to go offshore powerboat racing, and you wouldn't see the boats for hours at a time. We want everybody to get close enough that they actually get sprayed with the boats as they go by.
Well, there'll be plenty of spray out there today with the Super Cats and the Super Cat lights. Running in there, Dan Francis with the Zip Express. Let's find out his strategy.
Do you try and get in the lead and then back off just enough to hold it, or do you want to demoralize people, or what do you want to do?
Well, we're just going to kind of see. We've got a couple of new boats, basically. Everybody's kind of worked all winter working on their boats, so we've made a few changes, but we'll kind of get out there, and we might stay in the back just a little bit and hope to come from the behind. But if it turns out that we get the first corner, then we'll take the first corner, and we'll be out front. So Strategy changes. It's all great here on shore, but when you get out there and adrenaline starts kicking, you know, everything changes. So we're hoping to just kind of get in the hunt and see what happens.
We've had about 15 minutes seat time in this boat, so we don't know what we want. We just want to make it around the course and get back in one piece, and that's kind of what we're hoping for.
That's Slug Hefner in the Dirty Duck number 711. We look out the front end of the Tommy Bahama boat. Now we are milling on the course with the big Super Cats. This is the time when they will just kind of get their strategy, get their minds together, Martin, and get ready to push that throttle forward.
Well, right now there's a lot of butterflies going on. They've all been out there. They've all heard the talk about how big the water is, and they're all waiting to see what it's really going to be like when they get out there. They're hoping that they got the right propeller set up, and Super Cat is a great class with everything set up from a spec perspective. These guys are all running engines that are basically horsepower to horsepower, very similar. They have spec cylinder heads. They're not allowed to modify them in any way. It allows these boats to really get the guys in the boats running and racing against each other, not cubic dollars out there racing. Now on to Super Cat Light. The Super Cat Lights are the smaller versions of the Super Cats. The boats are a little bit smaller, and these guys are running the same engines that the factory class runs. They are running sealed Mercury HP 500 EFIs and Bravo-based outdrives.
We're looking now as they are bringing the big Super Cats forward. There you saw Hidden Agenda. There's Tommy Bahama. These boats are really going to be pushing hard. The yellow flag is up on the pace boat. When the starter decides the boats are lined up, they'll pull down the yellow, put out the green. This is on board the Tommy Bahama.
Buoy's on our inside.
Father and son team. That's Mark and Paul Nemshoff. There you see the WHM Motorsports and the Desana Chevrolet.
Get on it, go. We're on it.
There's the start of the race. Our Vortec engines, onboard camera, on board the Tommy Bahama, as they have now fallen back to second place, but they are still accelerating.
Boy, look at the Drambuie ice boat just check out. Johnny Tomlinson's got the throttles down, and that boat is beautiful. But you know, John Tomlinson was out running in the Bacardi Silver boat the other day, and he got a chance to see what the water conditions are like. He is obviously comfortable as we go on board with Drambuie on ice.
There you see Hugh Fuller steering the boat. Johnny Tomlinson is on the throttles, an experienced team. They had a good year last year, obviously, with the U.S.
Look at who we have coming up right here, Dick. We have the Team Virgin team, Todd Clidworth and Trace Martin. They're holding off Billy Mopp and Joey Impression as they go into turn one. Those two guys are coming from factory class racing, and they're holding off one of the top guys in the sport.
Leading them off at the very top of the screen, you could just see for a moment the Spirit of Puerto Rico team. We look back on WHM Motorsports. There it is from the side. You can see the battle they have on the inside of Spirit of Puerto Rico.
Oh, Tommy Bahama goes right through the rooster tail, gets completely hosed down, cuts down his visibility. They got to be careful doing that. That water gets up into the engine, it'll start shutting things down.
And here's a team picking things up right where they left off last year in the World Championships in Key West. The team of Pepe Lama and Russ Wilkin in the white boat, the Spirit of Puerto Rico, driving very, very aggressively. These two boats battling for second, trying to catch this boat, the US 1 Drambuie on ice. Stay with us. Back to Daytona Beach, Florida. We're looking at the start of the Super Cat Light. The green flag has flown.
Go, go.
You're on board Zip Express at the moment. You can see already the pace boat has started to peel off of the course. They will get out of the way as the boats go out of the line and they try to grab first place. There you see In Motion moving up, Critical Lift fast on the inside. That's going to be the battle for the lead right off the bat.
Boy, it looks like the How Sweet It Is boat is not having a good ride back there. They're right back in the water behind. There you go. You can see they're getting absolutely sprayed down by Critical Lift.
Zip Express was moving in on the inside of the leaders. We'll see how they're doing right there. You can see In Motion has fallen back a little bit. Flowmaster, the white and blue boat at the top of your screen, is actually riding in the Super Cat Light class.
There you go. You've got Zip Express moving up, making a play against Critical Lift for first place. He's running really well. That's an inboard boat versus an outboard boat. A little different in weight and the way those boats handle, but Neil Wolby has really got that boat dialed in right now.
That boat is leading in the overall. Second place to them right now is In Motion. There you see the inboard and the outboard. Critical Lift, Ted Zoli along with Gary Ballou. They are in the outboard boat. They are right alongside Zip Express.
There's the buoy right in front of you. See it?
Yeah, that guy don't see me.
He'll see you. He'll see you. Stay here.
All right, Neil Wolby's obviously concerned that Critical Lift cannot see him, so he's watching his line right now as they make their way into turn one. Whoa, he just hammered In Motion.
Left, Neil. Left, Neil.
I got it.
No, it's the left.
No, it's
obviously their concentration rattled as they went through there, watching over their shoulder, thinking critical lift, didn't see him, went right across the field, cut off 2 boats in the process, made a bad turn, cost him a lot of ground. Dan Francis was obviously upset with that action. He is now driving like a man possessed. Look at him running down in motion. He is a man on a mission. He has got that boat on kill. Obviously, as you saw by the inboards, he was really upset with that move.
Well, I can't blame him for being that upset about it. Jerry Sorrentino and Joey Gretton, they are in the in motion again boat, and they are now in the lead, and they are trying to hold on to it. They're looking over their shoulders. On the right side, they're going to see Zip Express coming up hard.
Boy, Zip Express is really making a move. Again, Dan Francis obviously running that boat with just a man on a mission as he comes up on the inside of Jerry Sorrentino, forces Jerry Sorrentino to go wide, and there again comes the How Sweet It Is boat right back in the fray still.
That's the interesting thing. John Peterson's boat, How Sweet It Is, was sitting in the back of the pack as they started things off. He did not get a good start. We pointed that out. Now he is up there in 3rd position, and he's coming on to try to take the lead.
Look at the difference between these 2 boats running. One of them a little bit lighter than the other. The skater built in motion, running very smooth. But you've got Joey Groton in that boat. He's a former national and world champion in the Hooters boat, back into catamarans after a short stint in V-bottoms. And here comes the brand new hull of Eliminator in 3rd place, charging right now. But what a battle we have between 1st and 2nd. Zip Express and In Motion.
You can see the difference in the ride of those 2 boats. Look at how Zip Express gets up there and just flies across the top with only the back end holding in the water, and there it loses the water. So he's literally flying that very, very high, and he's really riding the trail.
Typical experience that you see with Neil Wobe and Daniel Francis. Those guys really know how to run that boat. But here comes this brand new Eliminator bottom. Bob Leach out of Eliminator Powerboats in California doing a great job getting that boat dialed in with his son running it with John Peterson. They are moving into 3rd place. They're solidly in 3rd place, but really making a play as they move up on the inside of Zip Express.
That's the whole key to this thing, is the power that he can get on the inside. And now look at Zip Express has just about evened up. In Motion is on the outside. In the middle, it's Zip Express. And
look at How Sweet It Is coming from the inside. He is almost deck to deck. He's making a run. Look at that new boat run. He is now deck to deck alongside In Motion. Zip Express out in the lead. I wouldn't be surprised to see this How Sweet It Is boat really come to life on this next lap.
Martin, all I'm doing is sitting here thinking about APBA racing and what the dream is, and the dream is this kind of racing.
We're looking at the dream. Offshore powerboat racing in the old days, if you finished within 10 minutes of a boat, that was a close race. Look at this in one frame here. We can throw a blanket over 3 boats, and they're all running deck to deck at 120 miles an hour.
Zip Express is your lead boat at the moment, and on the outside, to the left of your screen or center, it is the In Motion boat. Boy, they are battling it out, but don't count out How Sweet It Is with that new bottom on that boat. Look at how they're picking up speed, and all 3 boats are going to be in a line coming into the turn.
Let's not forget that How Sweet It Is now has the inside line going to turn 1, and we saw how well he turned on the back straightaway. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see John Peterson and Brent Leach really hook around this corner and come out in the lead. But right now, they are all deck to deck, not even a boat between the 3 of those boats. You couldn't even drive through the middle of them. They're so close.
Wouldn't want to try it, and right now we're watching In Motion again because they're on the outside. Now they've got to hold their speed on the turn. There was a very sharp turn being made by the How Sweet It Is boat. We'll see if he can get up and get on the inside of these guys and take the lead. It looks like the outside boats are going to hold it. They're jumping out of the water, but they're holding on to their speed, and that's what counts. They are now number 1 In Motion. Number 2, Zip Express, cutting tighter on the turns, and cutting even tighter inside is How Sweet It Is in 3rd.
Boy, How Sweet It Is cutting really sharp inside and still maintaining their speed, and they're almost in a straight line, 3 across right now. Look at How Sweet It Is putting a move on right now, coming back up into 2nd place. He is putting a run on for Zip Express. He is moving to the lead.
Zip Express now has about a nose, but that's about it, and there goes In Motion again. Meanwhile, on the inside, here comes How Sweet It Is. How Sweet It Is going to take the lead just barely, and he's getting by. He's now got almost a boat length on the rest of the field. 2nd place is Zip Express, and back in 3rd on the far outside is In Motion again.
Boy, he took the inside line very tightly. Zip Express and In Motion, neither one of them could take the turn as tight, and How Sweet It Is moves into the lead, coming up on the left-hand turn on the race course.
John Peterson on the throttles, Brent Leach in the driver's seat. How Sweet It Is. Let's see how they can do. We'll be back to more racing in a moment. Welcome back to the Daytona Harley-Davidson Offshore Grand Prix presented by Daytona International Speedway. You're looking from high atop the course. The leader in the Super Cat Light. There you see how sweet it is, followed by In Motion on the far outside now. It is Zip Express. It is 1, 2, 3 as they run.
You know, Zip Express made a pretty critical error in the beginning as we look at our current first place leader, How Sweet It Is, and they almost took How Sweet It Is completely out of the race, turning on the outside of them.
Let's take a look at what happened in that.
As we saw on the onboard earlier, Zip Express, they were yelling at each other in the boat that he was actually going around the wrong turn. He hangs a hard right-hand turn, cuts right across the front of In Motion. But look, as we pan out, you see How Sweet It Is followed him around the inside of the turn, completely taking him out of contention, and yet How Sweet It Is was still able to run their way back into this race. How Sweet It Is wondering how they got caught on the inside of that turn, but they almost had no choice. They had to turn inside of that boat, or where they would have driven right over the back of them. And another critical thing to consider right there is the driver throttleman relationship that's going on there. Danny had that boat absolutely wired out, thinking there was no reason that Neil was going to turn the boat, and Neil turned the boat while they had it all up there. They're lucky they didn't spin the thing out and roll it over.
Well, that's for sure, but they're very much in this race right now. They're the outside boat. That's Zip Express on the inside. It's In Motion. Jerry Sorrentino and Joey Gratton. They are trying to hold on to second place, as we can see now, the leader in Super Cat. This is Hugh Fuller and Johnny Tomlinson, the US 1, Grand Buoy on ice. They have been running absolutely flawlessly.
Here we go on board with Johnny Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller. These guys have the best experience going. Right on their tail is WHM, currently in second place. Another traditional strong team in rough water with Joey Imprescia and Billy Moff running the WHM boat number 5.
You look back off the front end of the WHM Motorsports, and just off to the right, you could barely see the dot on the horizon, and that was Spirit of Puerto Rico. They are trying to close in on second place. But so far, Billy Moff and Joey Imprescia are running their race away from third, and there is your third place boat. That's Pepe Lama and Russ Wilkin in the Spirit of Puerto Rico. They're doing a great job at driving it. They have not been necessarily up into the front competition, but they're holding on. Back in fourth place, it's the father team of the Nemshoffs, Mark and Paul. Again, a good, solid running boat, holding in there, just thinking maybe something will happen to the leaders. Meanwhile, in second place, something has happened to the leader in the Super Cat Light. This is John Peterson, who was dominating the field a few moments ago. Now he has been passed up by In Motion. So Jerry Sorrentino and Joey Gratton have taken over the lead. John Peterson, along with Brent Leach, now riding in second place in How Sweet It Is.
Boy, they are running strong, though. That is a strong running boat. I don't know how Jerry Sorrentino and Joey Gratton got ahead of them, but they've been running very consistent all along. Those guys really gel well together as a team.
There you see the difference between first and second. And again, it may look like a lot, but let me tell you something. If Jerry Sorrentino and Joey Gratton make just one little misplay, they could have a problem. But you'll notice there, they didn't misplay. They played very tight on the buoy, and they forced How Sweet It Is to make a sharp turn. They are definitely playing strategy into this race.
Well, they've changed a little bit of their tactics from the last few times we've seen them go around the race course on this part of the course, where they're going a lot sharper around the turns and letting that boat turn, and that's what Joey Gratton knows how to do, and Jerry Sorrentino as a driver in Motion.
Welcome back to Daytona Beach, Florida, the APBA Offshore Pro Series Racing Circuit for 2002. Looking at Grand Buoy on ice, leading in the Super Cat. Here's the battle for second place as you can view it from the fourth place boat, Tommy Bahama. But as you do, you can see him pass up Spirit of Puerto Rico. Tommy Bahama has taken over third, WHM into second.
Boy, and right behind him, you saw some aggressive moves. Russ Wilkin trying to move Tommy Bahama over, but Paul Nemshoff wasn't having any of it. He sat there and held his line, went right to the inside, moved into third place.
There's a great shot of the second place boat. That's Joey Imprescia on the throttles in that boat, along with Billy Moff. Here's your leader. They have not had a problem at all from the green flag. It has been Grand Buoy on ice.
And here we go on board to the Vortec onboard camera. camera with Hidden Agenda with a rookie throttleman, Chris Carmody, and his veteran driver, Jamin Jones. And Chris Carmody is taking over for his brother, Jack Carmody, who was tragically killed last year in Corpus Christi at the East-West Shootout.
Being a rookie, I don't think I'm going to go out there and take unnecessary chances. You know, we've right now sitting on a week after a rookie incident, and I don't want to go out there and take unnecessary chances and get a reputation of rookies not being able to enter this sport. Nobody wants to have accidents, so I'm going to go out there tomorrow and just learn to race and race competitively and be a true sport.
You have to say that's the right attitude to have, and you can see the boats doing very well out there. They're just kind of racing their own race at this point, not trying to challenge anybody. Meanwhile, DeSantis Chevrolet, another new team, the combination of Charlie Hames and Danny DeSantis, having some problems.
Yeah, they've retired early today, Dick, and that's a disappointing start for them, but it's the first time out for a brand new boat that only finished getting rigged a week ago.
We're on board. How sweet it is, riding in second place in the Super Cat lights. There you see a good shot, and there you see way up ahead of them on the right side of your screen, the In Motion Again boat as they come back through a little bit of wake action. How Sweet It Is now goes through their wake, going to the outside. So How Sweet It Is still looking to challenge for lead in the Super Cat light.
What a beautiful line In Motion took through that turn. Jerry Sorrentino and Joey Groton really just carved a turn and shows you how well those catamarans turn as we go back on board. How Sweet It Is trying to chase down In Motion. Boy, you can see they really take a pounding as they go through the wakes as he made that turn, and you saw him cut on the inside. Another beautiful turn by How Sweet It Is, now going on the back straightaway as he battles for first. He took that inside line, cut off some distance, and now he's got a drag race with Jerry Sorrentino as they make their way along the back straightaway, coming up to another right-hand turn.
In Motion again goes high in the air and comes back down. That cost him a little bit of time and just enough for the inside boat to take over first place. How Sweet It Is.
Oh, it looks to me, I think that jump there might have cost him an outdrive. It looked to me like the way he came up, he completely came off, lost power when he came back down, Dick. I think we actually got to witness an outdrive explode.
There you see In Motion again as it goes dead in the water. They've already got the top of the canopy up, and it looks like they're going back to check on things, and it is, without question, an outdrive. Boy, they came down.
Boy, you see the rescue helicopter right over the top, just checking to make sure that everybody's okay, that it isn't an issue that needs any kind of medical attention. But I'll bet right now they're a little bit disappointed having that helicopter thrash the rotor blade wash down on them. I'd like to get back in the boat.
So the In Motion Again boat goes out. That gives the lead in Super Cat Light to How Sweet It Is. We'll be back to continue racing from Daytona in a moment. Welcome back to Daytona Beach, Florida. Dick Griffin along with Martin Sanborn as we look down on the Drambuie on ice, leading in the Super Cat race. They have taken it from the green flag, and they are holding on to it.
Here we go on board with the John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller. And now we're right back watching WHM and Tommy Bahama battling it out. And Tommy Bahama on the outside of WHM Motorsports as they make the right-hand turn. Fantastic move by Tommy Bahama as he goes to the inside right under the rooster tail of WHM. He's now battling for second place, Dick.
Tommy Bahama has opened it up. They take over second place from WHM Motorsports. A great job at driving and throttling by the father and son team. Watch this boat. We are now looking straight ahead. This is the boat you see out there. Great job of driving.
Whoa! Big air, and they were able to set the boat back down on its tail. Amazing. Here we watch them take off on this wave. They come right back on the propellers. Amazing. When a catamaran does that at speed, you run the risk of the boat blowing over backwards. Boy, clearly Mark and Paul Nimshop discussing their little airborne extravaganza there, Dick.
WHM Motorsports now holding on to third place. Back and forth. It is the Spirit of Puerto Rico. This is a wide open race. Here comes, whoa, Team Virgin. They catch a little bit of air. A great job of driving, holding onto the boat, bringing it back down on its back end, but an indication that they are really holding it on the racer's edge.
Here we go on board the Vortec onboard camera with Hidden Agenda, seeing how these guys are running their brand new boat.
Super Cat Racing, there's Hidden Agenda with the rookie throttleman. We'll be back to more racing in a moment. Welcome back to Daytona Beach, Florida for the Daytona Harley-Davidson Offshore Grand Prix presented by Daytona International Speedway. Dick Crippen along with Martin Sanborn as we look back at some of the action that happened earlier in the Super Vs. Nick Carter Racing, that's right, the same Nick Carter as the Backstreet Boys. His team took an all-important first ever win.
And then moving on to Super V Light, the Pier 57 stainless marine entry of Rick Trammell, Vortec Power taking first place in Super V Light.
Rick, you're in a beautiful new boat. You've gone up one class. How about learning a new boat? Is it easier to learn or is it more difficult?
For me, it's pretty easy. I've been running a lot of boats over the years. The boat handles very, very well, turns great, and this is a 38-foot skater, and we have an HP3 Vortec engines in it this year, creating about 1,000. And it's very unique. It runs better, it's stabler, and usually in 3 to 5, run about 90 miles an hour, having a good time.
In Factory 1, it was a battle from the green flag on. You had Propco propellers, you had Flash Wave, Offshore Addiction. They were battling back and forth. Look at how the water had roughened up and they were flying high. You knew it had to have an effect on some of the boats, and it did. Typhoon goes out of the race. That left it open to Propco Marine and Flash Wave. Down they come, flying high. Propco would go on to take the win. Flash Wave on the outside. Look at how they battled.
And then on to Factory 2 racing, where it was Herbots racing for a cure for children's diabetes, holding off the Donzi team to take a first place win. And as in Formula One and NASCAR, there is a Constructors' Championship at stake here. These manufacturers are vying for bragging rights of who builds the best powerboat, and the current champion, defending champion, Formula Powerboats, taking a top 5 finish. Into the Super V Light single, it was the Vortec-powered High Noon Racing taking first place.
Now back to the Super Cats on the course as we speak. The current leader is Drambuie on ice. A flawless race by John Tomlinson on the throttles. Hugh Fuller on the steering wheel. There's a good shot of him inside the cockpit. Tommy Bahama closing in. A great move before to move up into second place. Now riding in the wake of the lead boat.
You can see the difference in how these boats handle. Tommy Bahama running very flat, takes a little bit wider turn, but he's the one boat that has a little different stern drive configuration. It gives him a little bit of an edge in turning as we move on to WHM Motorsports, currently in third place.
Billy Moff and Joey Impression were very much in there. There's the Spirit of Puerto Rico. That's another boat that's battling to try to get up into third place. They are now currently in fourth. Now, the real story of this race is the Hidden Agenda boat that is challenging Team Virgin as we speak. Remember, inside the Hidden Agenda boat that you see on the inside of the race course right there is a veteran driver in Jamin Jones, but on the throttle is a guy who lost his brother in the same sport about a year ago in Corpus Christi, Texas, in a very tragic accident. What is going through his mind as he wants to win this race?
I can't even imagine what Chris must be thinking right now. He is running side by side at 130 miles an hour with veteran racers that are going to show him absolutely no leeway. These guys are world champions off to his side. He's racing with adrenaline right now. Whenever you've got a boat alongside you, you are running everything you can to keep the boat going. He's running a boat that's not handling as well as he would like it to handle in rough water. You see the boat running nose-eye. He's pushing it as hard as he can right now. I just can't even imagine what will be going through his head. Whoa, as he gets a little bit of nose air there. That boat, they move the engines back a little bit in that boat. It's making it handle a little bit bad in the rough water, but he is holding his own. He is giving a run to Team Virgin, an absolute rookie in his first race ever as a professional offshore powerboat racer, as they make their way north along Daytona Beach, heading towards turn 1.
And you got to remember, Todd Clintworth and Trace Martin are two guys who have seen championships in their own pockets. So they know how to run these boats, and they've run them a long time.
And Hidden Agenda has just moved ahead of Team Virgin. He has now taken the lead from Team Virgin. He is now in fourth place on a rookie team. That is amazing.
And I have to think that he's thinking right now, I've got to pull back a little bit on these sticks if I possibly can, but he's not. He's got it wide open, and look, they're leaving Team Virgin behind.
What a great job going around that turn he did. He held that boat tight, went very tightly around the turn, and he is running like a man possessed. There is a guy with some serious guts. That's his first time in a Super Cat, and look at him go.
Flowmaster has been dominant on the circuit at the end of last year, and he's going to start it right out that way. Oh! He put the nose down into the water and fortunately came back up.
Let's look at that again. Boy, you see him get a little bit of air. He trips the boat and stuffs it. He got the boat coming up. It came down on the tail first. That's called a trip. Then he put the nose right through the next wave. That's a stuff.
Now, what goes through your mind after that?
Hoping you come back up to the top.
Here you see Ted Zoli and Gary Ballou. Gary is on the throttles. Ted Zoli is on the drive, and they are really piloting hard in critical lift. That boat running in second place to Flowmaster.
Here we have Snake Man Racing currently running in third place with Paul Whittier from Kirkland, Washington, number 311.
There are battles all over this field. Every class is battling it out. We've got checkered flags dead ahead.
Welcome back to the Daytona Harley-Davidson Offshore Grand Prix presented by the Daytona International Speedway. And we are pleased to have Daytona Harley-Davidson on not only as the sponsor of this event, but as a Pro Series sponsor as the official motorcycle provider of APBA Offshore. We had an opportunity to speak with Bruce Rossmeyer from Daytona Harley-Davidson.
When I started negotiating to sponsor this race, one of my things were, and I said, well, geez, if I'm going to do it, I need to get a boat. And with the help of you know, some of the people in the circuit that said maybe we can put together with somebody in the racing, and if we can work out a sort of a cross deal and everybody helps everybody, we put the deal with Donzi, and they just delivered me a 39-foot basically race boat, and that was part of me getting involved with the circuit. And something to do a cross promotion with Daytona Harley on it, my other store, Fort Lauderdale Harley, and also Daytona Boss, which building Shaquille O'Neal a bike, and we built other custom bikes. And by doing that, they wanted us to be part of it and be the pace boat, so we'll get the publicity, the advertising, and be involved with it. You know, we only have to go fast for a little bit, being a pace boat, then get out of the picture. But I'm real excited with Donzi.
Boy, a special thank you to Bruce Rossmeyer and all the folks over at Daytona Harley-Davidson, as well as the people at Donzi Marine for producing that beautiful pace boat that we get to carry with us through the rest of the season.
Well, it seems to be a good combination. Here's your current leader, Drambuie on ice, Hugh Fuller and Johnny Tomlinson. And by the way, we just got word that Tommy Bahama hit over a 100-mile-per-hour average speed on a lap. So he is really pushing hard, trying to close in from second place.
Well, Tommy Bahama is pushing hard indeed, but they have a reputation for running very hard, but unfortunately they don't have a reputation for finishing very well.
No, they've had the gremlins hit all the time, and they have had all sorts of problems with the boat.
Here they're running very strong right now, though, as they make their way through second place, passing Snake Man Racing in the other classes.
Tommy Bahama rides very, very smooth, as you can see through the front of the cockpit. This is what the driver and throttleman are seeing ahead of them. WHM Motorsports still staying very strong in third place. They would like to catch Tommy Bahama, but I think at this point, Billy Moff is far enough in the race now. He's going to sit back and take third place. Fourth place, and still running strong, is the Spirit of Puerto Rico number 44 boat.
Well, you watched the way that Billy Moff was running that boat. Billy Moff is an expert at running boats in rough waters. We go back to John Thomas and Hugh Fuller, another pair of experts. As we said at the very beginning of the show, any one of these boats has the capacity to win, but today it's been Drambuie on ice from flag to flag.
But they better watch out. We just told you Tommy Bahama clicked off a 100-mile-per-hour lap. There you see that boat. They are driving strong and driving hard.
Well, he doesn't want to go. We're out. We lost the starboard end.
It's going to be very strong.
You want to keep running around like this?
Yeah.
Boy, unfortunately, there we heard they lost the starboard motor. That takes Tommy Bahama out of the running. That moves WHM Motorsports into second place.
More times than not, Billy Moffus had a great strategy, and that is to just keep the boat in contention, keep it up in the front of the pack, and hope that somehow they can move up in position, and that's exactly what happened here. Also with Spirit of Puerto Rico, they now move up to third place. So they've got to be happy they continue to chip away.
Here we're looking at the Vortec on board of Hidden Agenda. Now to the outside. Hidden Agenda, this is the story of the day. Rookie throttleman running in his first race as a professional offshore powerboat racer in 4th place in this highly competitive Super Cat class.
And these guys are having a ball. Woo! Yeah! On board the Hidden Agenda, they are just having a good time. We were wondering about Chris's mental state, but he's doing great. There's the Team Virgin boat, and they're still running strong.
Here we currently have our leader in Super Cat Light. How sweet it is. They have moved into the lead after the drop-off from Jerry Sorrentino and In Motion. Running great in their 38 Eliminator. That is a brand new bottom on that boat. And in second place, Zip Express right on his hip.
Zip Express has had a tough race. The water has roughened up a little bit. They have been fighting it all the way. They're in an open cockpit. They are really fighting strong. No question this. Oh,
what a big hit they took.
They really took it. They're lucky they stayed in the boat on that one.
We saw the boat completely come out of the water. You saw it loosen up, and all of a sudden he hit the throttles all the way forward and launched both of them almost out of their seats.
I remember one time a guy that I know did that and threw another guy right out of the boat.
It's happened more than once. Here we go back on board with Zip Express. You get a chance to see what happens here. The boat gets loose. He comes back in, dips the left sponson back in, puts both of them up out of the seat. But look at that. He's right back on the throttles again. I can totally relate to that feeling. Back in Corpus Christi a couple years back, Chairman Michael Allweiss and he was chasing me around a turn. Same thing happened to them. Unfortunately, one of them got thrown out of the boat. That's what Dick was referring to. But then we were all right back in the heat of battle again. That's offshore boat racing.
Dirty Duck doing a good job holding in, and there is Flowmaster. They are leading in the triple outboard division. This boat out of St. Petersburg, Florida, has done a great job last year and now is picking up where they left off. Meanwhile, back in second place, it's Critical Lift. Ted Zoli is driving that boat. Gary Ballou is on the throttles. A good job again, but this is late in the race at this point. Snake Man Racing, the number 311, is back in third place, still holding on.
Look at Dirty Duck making his way up on the outside. Dirty Duck pushing that boat hard. We heard Slug Hefner talking earlier in the day that he just wanted to make sure he got around the race course in this brand new boat. Look at him hanging that boat out, setting it up on its sponsons. That's the kind of thing that makes for exciting racing, but it's dangerous.
Up in front in the Super Cats, the US 1, the Dram Buoy on ice. This boat has just been great to watch. It has done everything right thus far. Assuming none of the gremlins bite it, they should hold on for the win. Meanwhile, WHM Motorsports now is seeing the rooster tail of the lead boat instead of the second place boat. They are in second place. Billy Moff and Joey Impression doing a good job of holding the boat in. Back in third again is the Spirit of Puerto Rico. Russ Wilkin and Pepe Lama. They have been very solid, and they continue to hold the same gap between third and second. The racing continues. The checkered flags are in the air. We're ready to proclaim some winners. We'll be back to Daytona in a moment. We're back at Daytona Beach, Florida. We've been watching great racing, and it is now coming down to time for the checkered flag. That's one of the turn boats, turn number 1 on the course, as they are patrolling and getting set for the final lap. This is Dram Buoy on ice, leader overall and leader in the Super Cat division.
John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller have run flawlessly all day long. Perfect trim on that boat, perfect prop selection. Looks like they did their homework.
WHM Motorsports was able to move up into second place after Tommy Bahama lost the starboard engine on board the boat. You're not going to go anywhere with the engine dead. In third place, Spirit of Puerto Rico fought hard, had to work it up from the back of the pack. They did it. They got into third place. They'll be on the podium at the awards ceremony. But this is really the story of the race. Chris Carmody out here in his first race ever. He's got himself hooked up with a real professional in Jamin Jones, and he's done a great job holding on to fourth place.
And he held out fourth place over Team Virgin, Todd Clenworth and Trace Martin, taking fifth place overall in this Daytona Offshore Grand Prix.
Right off the green flag, Flowmaster took a lead in the Super Cat Light Triple Outboard. They had a little bit of a contest with Critical Lift early on, but this first-time team of Ted Zoli and Gary Ballou were able to hold them off for a short time. Then Flowmaster took the lead. Critical Lift now riding in second place. And in Super Cats, trying to hold off WHM Motorsports for the checkered flag, US 1 Grand Buoy on ice, and there it is. The checkered flag flies, the fist goes in the air from Hugh Fuller. Grand Buoy on ice has won the Super Cat division.
And in second place, rounding out in a close battle, WHM Motorsports, Billy Moff and Joey Imprescia take us second place, followed immediately by Spirit of Puerto Rico for a third.
But that's not all. This is the big story. The rookie throttleman, Chris Carmody, coming home in fourth place in his very first place ever. This is a happy time.
Hey,
yeah.
My first race, who better to beat than a virgin? I got my first virgin.
And this would be the Virgin that they're speaking of, actually. Team Virgin, Trace Martin and Todd Clinworth. And here is our winner in Super Cat Light inboard. How sweet it is. Brent Leach and John Peterson running well all day long, taking first place as we go on board Zip Express. A little wet after they almost stuffed it.
Boy, they came out of it just right, though. I've got to say, they kept the boat going, they kept the power to it, and they're going to end up with a second place. Very well deserved. A good battle. I think they have to be very happy with the way it finished. Here comes the Dirty Duck boat, number 711. Again, a boat that kind of laid back in the field for a while, fought its way up, got into position. Here's your winner in the Super Cat Light Outboard, Triple Outboard class. This is Flowmaster. Again, another good job of driving, and the checkered flag brings them all home.
Perfect way to start the year.
Well, we had a really good time out there. John did a great job both days. Had the boat today, and he told me out, and we found the river, and you know, we just ran a safe race, and we came back with a check. We got very fortunate.
John, it looked like you had a wonderful battle going on out there with 11 and 77. It was just kind of tooth and nail fun for a while.
Yeah, it was very, very competitive out there in that rough water, and we just we didn't quite have enough oomph to get out in front of them, but we did all right.
How did you manage?
Held it wide open the entire time. Very seldom let off. Lucky we didn't break a drive.
It was a tough race. Johnny did an excellent job. He thanked the crew enough, you know, for everything they did. They worked hard. We've had a pretty tough winter. Like, we did a lot of testing, like I said. We really weren't sure what we were going to have. You know, we were fortunate at the Worlds last year in this boat, and the skater did excellent. I mean, you know, we did not have the fastest boat, but, you know, we're able to be consistent, able to carry a little more speed in the turns, I think, and had to drive a little harder to carry a little more speed, you know, to get the lap times down. So.
Now, late in the race, the lead was dwindling. What was all that from, Hugh?
No, I mean, I think the 41 boat, I think when they, you know, get going, and they get used to the boat, and they get dialed in, I think they're the fastest boat out there, you know. And we know that. We don't get a lead, put the pressure on them, we can't ever catch them. So, you know, but if they hadn't had a problem, I don't think we could have held them off, because they were getting about 5 seconds a lap. In 2 laps, they were from 13 seconds to like 4 seconds, and we did not slow down. You'll see our lap times were the same. We were pretty consistent within a second. They were a lot faster than we were.
Good job. Good job, Hugh.
Thank you.
Nice to see you in the winter.
My maiden voyage, I got me a virgin.
Proud of you, buddy. Good job.
There you see Hidden Agenda. That boat came in 4th place. Isn't there some sort of a tradition that goes with it?
Oh, there he goes swimming. You know, he was getting patted down by his crew. At least they were being thoughtful enough to make sure he didn't have a wallet in his pocket. But that is a tradition for a well-run first race as he goes swimming.
And that's a good way to say farewell from Daytona Beach, Florida. Our special thanks to New Smyrna Beach for their help, and the Municipal Airport as a staging area, Black Crow Broadcasting, and Daytona Harley-Davidson. Let's remind you that next week we'll be racing in Marathon, Florida. Tune in to join us for the great action on the water. For Martin Sanborn, I'm Dick Griffin. So long from Florida.